The Droid line is back, and this time around, it wants a piece of you. How's it going, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com. At least that's what it sounds like from the name. The HTC DROID DNA is in the office. Now, I'm doing a very special hangout with Google and Verizon on Verizon's Google Plus page on November 19th at 12 p.m. Eastern. You're going to want to check that out because I'm doing another unboxing and a very special hangout where we talk a little bit more about this awesome device. But for now, the unboxing on PhoneDog's page. I've been working with this device for some time, and I've been really impressed with it all around. It's a nice 5-inch device with a quad-core processor, and better yet, that 5-inch display is 1080p. Is this device you should go with this holiday season? We'll find out a little bit of that in the unboxing, but first, special thanks to our partners at Best Buy Mobile for giving us a device like this, for hooking us up with them, for use in our One Paw Bandit giveaway game, which we turn around and give to you on the site at instantwin.phonedog.com. When you walk into Best Buy Mobile, you walk out working. They're going to help you set up your email, your web, your 4G LTE connectivity settings, and more. So when you walk out the door with your DNA, you're good to go at Best Buy Mobile. Stay tuned for that Google Plus hangout on Verizon Wireless's Google Plus page. Special thanks to HTC for a review unit. Let's check it out and see if it's all that in the full unboxing. The Droid franchise is back, and it wants to take your soul, or at least your DNA or something. The Droid line just keeps getting creepier and creepier with the names. This one is the latest in the lineup. The Droid DNA by HTC. It's a new device, and if you haven't been checking out Twitter or Facebook, I'm going to be unboxing this device on the 19th at 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central with Verizon Wireless and team. So I'll be doing an exciting Google Plus hangout on Verizon Wireless's Google Plus page. So I'm really excited about this, but as a result of that, I've known about this device, been working with it, and been really impressed all around. It's a really, really impressive HTC device, and it really almost kind of makes up for the fact that Verizon never got an HTC One device earlier in the year. Actually, it really doesn't make up for that, because you know what? They should have gotten a One device, and instead they got the Droid Incredible 4G LTE, which wasn't a bad device, but still, this finally brings a high-end, powerful HTC device to Verizon. Out of the gate, though, you can see Droid DNA by HTC, wall USB charger out of the box, reference guide, global support, product safety, and warranty. So this is really an exciting thing for HTC going into the holiday season, because their One Series device is coming up on a year in terms of age, a year old. The One X Plus coming to AT&T, the One VX coming to AT&T, the Droid DNA coming to Verizon, Sprint still rocking the Evo 4G LTE. That said, it's a pretty decent device with some killer specs. This is the flagship HTC device, though, going into the holiday season. So really excited to get my hands on with this one. It's packing the best of the best when it comes to HTC features and more. It's packing a 1.5 gigahertz quad-core Snapdragon S4 Pro CPU, a 5-inch 1080p display, first in its class, first smartphone in the States to have a 1080p HD display, 1080p by 1920, or 1080 by 1920 pixels on this device, an 8-megapixel camera on the back with 1080p HD video recording. That's a lot of 1080ps on this device. And then I'm recording this in 1080p too, so you're just getting all kinds of 1080p, my Phone Dog friends. But you can see the design, very similar here to kind of the J Butterfly, which we saw come out overseas. Nice to see something kind of like that coming to the States. But it's packing kind of a small 2020 milliamp hour battery. It's non-removable, and it will certainly be interesting to see how well that battery performs on day-to-day testing and in day-to-day use. So obviously, sorry for the drift issue there with the camera. Let's get this sucker back into focus. You got your volume rocker over here on the right side, your 3.5mm headphone jack up top with a power button, your micro SIM card slot, which you've got to use a tool to access, which comes in the box. We'll show you in just a second. And then, of course, your micro USB charging port down here at the bottom of the device. So really nice with kind of the Ferrari red accents on the side, typical Droid look and feel as you would expect here. And it's a big device, but HTC has been clear, don't call it a phablet. It's not a tablet hybrid. It is just a big, high-end super phone device. So compare this to the Galaxy Note 2, which I have the flip cover on it, but take a look at the size difference here between this and the Galaxy Note 2. Take a look at this versus the iPhone, and you can see the size difference there. Take a look at this versus something like Lumia 920, which is still just a big device. So kind of similar in terms of size to the Lumia 920, but thinner than the Lumia 920. Compare it to their Windows Phone high-end device, the HTC Windows Phone 8X, as you can see here. And then you've got, of course, those red accents in the back. In the box, you do get some goodies, not a whole lot out of the gate. But hey, it's $200 with a 2-year agreement. So in terms of pricing, you're getting a pretty good deal, so don't expect too much out of the box. It does have Beats audio as well, and of course Verizon's 4G LTE and Android 4.1, also known as Jelly Bean, with HTC Sense 4 Plus. So version 4 Plus out of the gate on this device. SIM tray, removal tool. You've got some start guide stuff, which is incredibly hard to get out Learned it the hard way when I was looking at this a while back. So obviously we're doing this hangout. I've had some time to look into this device. Really impressed so far with what I've been seeing. Verizon Start here, you get Inicio aquí, Inicio aquí, whatever. Global sport information and calling card, consumer information about radio frequency emissions and responsible driving, important consumer information, product safety, and warranty information. Now I'm going to say it in Spanish. Información sobre la garantía y seguridad del producto. And then where's información importante del consumidor? I know it's in here somewhere, but I do not see it jumping out at me. Now let's take a look at what comes way down in the box. So we got through one layer of the box. Let's see how we can get down into the second layer. Let's move this away. And since I'm a stickler, a little bit OCD when it comes to these boxes, I'll make sure I get everything back in just how it should be. But an AC adapter module here, typical HTC AC adapter module. And of course a USB cable as well. So no surprises there in terms of what comes in the box. No surprises even in terms of different looking accessories. It looks just like the same accessories that have come in HTC devices for the past several months, actually for the past several years, honestly. With the exception, obviously, it's a black device, so it comes with black ones. When they do white devices, they usually ship with white AC adapter modules and white USB cables. So that's something to keep in mind. But it all comes down in this box. So I'm really impressed, for the specs of this device that Verizon is pricing it at $199. It's going to be a really competitive device in comparison to something like the Samsung Galaxy Note 2, which offers some killer specs, but it has an S Pen, but it's available for $299.99. So if you want to spend $100 less, I think HTC is really gunning for that price point here. Lower price point than the Galaxy Note 2 is going to most likely equal more sales, both from HTC diehards and from prospective holiday shoppers. So we'll power this on right now. Android 4.1, like I said, HTC has done this thing for a while with their power buttons where they're kind of flush with the device. Not my favorite thing because I find it kind of hard to find the power button. It's very flush. It's kind of hard to feel up here at the top. And this device is new out of the box, so I can't imagine after 6 months or a year of use whether that thing will hold up or not. But still, a really impressive device. The display on this phone, absolutely gorgeous. I'm not going to say what you think I'm going to say. The blank doesn't do it justice. You know what I'm thinking here. The camera doesn't do it justice, and it really doesn't. It's an impressive display all around. And then, of course, Android 4.1 running on this device. Now, you get the usual Verizon stuff out of the gate. Amazon Kindle, Amex Serve, Audible. You get IMDb on this device. You get My Verizon Mobile, NFL Mobile, Google Play integration, Reign of a Mirror, whatever that is. Some cool game, I guess. And then you get visual voicemail, $299 per month for that, VZ Navigator, Verizon Tones, and more. So obviously HTC Sense version 4 Plus running down here means you can move between your applications. You can go from all applications to frequent, to downloads, to Verizon apps, and this thing is incredibly fast all around. I can tell you that it's handled everything I've thrown at it with incredible ease. So very impressed in terms of the speed of this device. Now you're going to see that pesky Wi-Fi notification right here. I'm trying to get it out of the light there where you don't see that light behind me. But Wi-Fi off here, you cannot remove this. This is a Verizon thing they're putting on most of their new devices. They're encouraging you to use Wi-Fi. That's great if you want to use Wi-Fi. I just don't like being told that I have to use Wi-Fi, and I can't turn that off in the settings, as you can see here. So Wi-Fi is off. I did turn off, though, the Notify Me feature, the Keep Wi-Fi on During Sleep feature, and more. So I can kind of control it a little bit, but still, regardless of what you do, that pesky Wi-Fi notification is going to stay up there in the notifications bar. Can't really do much about it. Kind of sad, very frustrating on Verizon's part that they choose to think that consumers need that. But that said, perhaps for a new smartphone buyer, it may be good to have that. Again, not a fan of it just because messages and things like that pop in above it, and so it kind of it presents this pesky notification that never goes away. So take it or leave it, but that does come on this device. Fortunately, it's not like the Droid Incredible 4G LTE where you get the little annoying Wi-Fi notification thing in the top left-hand corner. What you do get, though, is Android 4.1 Jelly Bean with HTC's user interface running obviously over top of this. You can see the Jelly Bean clock up here, and then, of course, settings. A little bit different. You got your Beats audio integration right there. Personalization, as you can see, accounts and sync, and then system information. You also see that recent applications, you can see pretty heavy HTC Sense customization here, and I was doing some test messages from earlier. As you can see, this is a demo number, so I'll say something like the Quick Brown Fox, and obviously this is something else as well. 5-inch display, going to be incredibly easy to type on all around, and again, portrait to landscape transitions, just overall fluidity of this device is on point. It's absolutely impressive all around, and they've improved the HTC Sense keyboard. So I wasn't a huge fan. I've never really been a huge fan of HTC's keyboard. I've always recommended third-party alternatives. That said, I've been incredibly impressed with the new one. It's finally to a point where I could actually use this on a daily basis and be really impressed. I can say the Quick Brown Fox, and I say that and of course goof up everything here. Let's say Quick Quick Brown Fox is happy. Typical Aaron on camera. It's like, hey, this is great, and then I type, and it's like, blah, and then it doesn't work. Quick Brown Fox is happy to be alive because he is a cool, well, he's a fool too, but he's a cool fox that is, and I'm just typing stuff as I go. So the responsiveness here is incredibly on point. The overall prediction is on point, very impressive on the keyboard front all around. So I can send that to the demo number, and my Note 2 over here is going to light up in just a second. Another cool feature that a couple of people have pointed out, my friend Rich over at Phone Scoop, I think was the first person to point it out, is there's a notification light on the back as well. So when you turn it off and back on, not only do you get your notification light up here on the top, you get your notification light back here on the back. That's great for people that flip their phones over and want the notification. It's terrible for people like me that flip their phone over to avoid the notification. So it depends on your personal taste when it comes to notification light. I often, if I'm working, I get 300 to 400 emails a day. So usually I'll flip my phone over while I'm at my desk, because I know, if I have conference calls, I'll take it, but I'll flip it over at the desk. Unfortunately now, I either have to turn the entire notification light off to avoid that, or I just have to put up with a notification light on the back. Minor thing, pretty cool though that HTC decided to include one on the back, because if you're not like me, that's a great addition to the device overall. You'll also see some improvements in Sense 4 Plus with little things like personalization on this device. We'll go down here to personalize, and you can see on wallpaper, a couple of new wallpapers on this device. But that's not really the meat of what I want to focus on. What I want to focus on is, and we'll go back in here as well so you can take a look. Again, we'll go into personalize and show you the lock screens. The productivity lock screen is a new one. A couple of different little tweaks to this device that you can see here. No lock screen, you got your music, you got your stocks. So a couple of changes here to the overall lock screens, but what you do get is productivity, where I can see the weather, text messages, emails, calendar updates, and more from my lock screens. I turn it off and back on, and I have this activated, so the first thing that pops up is Dallas weather, and then when I get text messages or emails, those will pop in right there, and I can just press and move it down into the lock screen ring. So quick and easy access to the information that matters the most to me. Last but not least, let's take a look. 4G LTE connectivity on Verizon, over 400 4G LTE markets. You know what we're going to do? We're going to look up phonedog.com and take a look at the speed here. Been really impressed with the speed in the Dallas Metroplex. No change on the Droid DNA. And you'll see up here tabs, menu, and more. So I've got my tabs right there. Much easier to access than previous versions of HTC's browser. I like that it's right there. And of course, pinch to zoom, incredibly responsive. And for a lot of people, 5 inches is going to be a great display size, because some people 5.5 is too big. The Note's just a meaty device. The Note 2 is too heavy, too big, whatever the case may be. But let's say the Galaxy S3 or the 1X, or let's think of a 4.5 inch display device. The Lumia 920 might be a little bit too small. This could be a nice balance for a lot of people that want something that they can watch media on a regular basis, get that big display, but don't want to go too big in terms of a display like a 5.5 inch display. That said, a couple of problems with this device that I see out of the gate. They may not be problems. We'll take a look in the full review. One, a very small battery, 2020 milliamp hour battery. Now HTC, that said, has been pretty good in the past with standby time, so I don't really expect that to be a huge problem. I'll let you know in the full review, but that is a point of concern. Also, only 16 gigabytes of internal storage here, of about 12 of which is available to the user, and there's no room for expansion. No micro SD card slot on this device. So unless you store your music in the cloud, you're probably, if you're a music head like I am, you're probably going to run into a wall in terms of that 16 gigabytes of storage. But overall, really impressive device all around, a great price point. So glad they priced this at $200. Incredibly powerful, 1080p HD display, a quad-core processor, and more. Can't wait to talk more about it, both in the full review and on my special Google Plus Hangout unboxing with Verizon Wireless on Verizon's Google Plus page on the 19th at 12 p.m. Eastern. Check that out at Verizon's Google Plus page for more information. I'll be there on Monday at 12 p.m. We'll talk more about this device in the coming days, so keep it locked on phonedog.com for continuing coverage of the HTC DROID DNA. The Droid line's back. It's bigger than ever before, and it wants your DNA in its quest to become Skynet. I couldn't resist, because I think the Droid line is creepy as it is. I shouldn't say it's creepy. It's not a creepy line, but the Droid line is always kind of focused around those robots, in terms of droid and like all the droids in the fields and things crashing. And so, you know what? This one wants your DNA because it's a powerful device. And it wants to be even more powerful because it wants to be fused to you via DNA. You like what I did there, Verizon? I think I just gave you a marketing campaign for the Droid DNA, but keep it locked on PhoneDog.com for continuing coverage. Let me know what you think of this device at PhoneDog_Aaron and on Facebook at Facebook.com/PhoneDogAB. Thanks for watching. Keep it locked on the site. Be sure to enter our greatest tech giveaway ever 2 on our page at Facebook.com/PhoneDog, and I'll see you in a couple of days with a full review.